Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. And on this one, we're diving on into the Corvette project, hoping we can figure out, does this thing actually have only 20 pounds of oil pressure at cold start? Or is it higher or lower? I don't know, but one way or another, we're gonna put this thing on full blast. Make sure you do it on full blast. All right, well, if you didn't see the last video on this car, I traded my 78 Jimmy, the one with the chopped roof, you know, that I had that was for sale in the middle of winter. Got this 77 Corvette that somebody, man, has spent just a pile of cash on for a C3 Corvette. I mean, they're not the most desirable, and when it comes to it, they're probably worth anywhere between 10 to 20. Really nice, you know? This one has been engine swapped to a 383 stroker, and it was a crate engine they bought off eBay. I mean, just a horrible decision. That engine had low oil pressure, broken push rods, broken valve springs. From the looks of the receipt, they rolled new bearings in it because it had incorrect bearings, I believe rod bearings. Rolled new bearings in it, fixed all the push rods, everything else. And it's, to me now, and it's showing like 20 PSI cold start oil pressure. I don't know. I know these gauges on these old cars are super inaccurate. So first step on any kind of, let's verify oil pressure, install you a mechanical gauge. So I'm gonna pull the sender out, install this gauge, and then let's verify oil pressure. So that's step one. Let's verify this. If we're getting grossly different numbers on the mechanical, then I'm gonna switch out the sender. I have a new sender. The gauge, I've already tested the gauge. It seems to sweep correctly. So sender, now, if we verify we have low oil pressure, there's kind of a few steps you can do. So I know the oil filter's super old. It could have collapsed. So change the oil filter. The oil looks brand new, but is it fuel soaked? It doesn't sound like it. If your oil gets fuel soaked, from your carburetor running way too rich, or your fuel pump failing and fuel just going straight into the oil pan, past the diaphragm in that fuel pump, that could also possibly be an issue. So I would do filter first, add a little oil, and then we don't get any change then, drop the oil, put new oil, and just see if we get a big jump. If we get a big jump, then I would honestly jump to changing the fuel pump on this car. Put a new fuel pump on it, adjust your carb, get everything kind of running the way it should, because it's not performing at 100% right now. If you watch the last video, this thing at one point dieseled for like 15 seconds. So it's not got the perfect tune-up on it. And then if we do all those steps, change the oil, still got low oil pressure, I have an oil pump, oil pan gasket. These cars aren't the hardest to get up under it, drop the pan, put a new pump, because what can happen is this car's been sitting for a long time and your bypasses in that oil pump, it can get sticky essentially, and it's just not letting the pump build up enough oil pressure, and it's just letting it bypass. And if we're in there, just go ahead and shake on all your rod bearings. Is anything loose? Maybe pull one, look at it. Is it scorched? At least we'll be able to look under the motor. But hopefully we don't have to come anywhere near that step, maybe sending unit. No, it probably, knowing me and knowing this car, it's probably all the steps. And then lastly, so you do all those things, you put your fuel pump in, your pressure does not go up. Before I pull the motor on a Chevrolet, what I would do, pull your distributor, put a different one in. I've seen so many people have oil issues and it's distributor related. I don't know if the distributor is not turning the oil pump enough or the gear is messed up. I'm not 100% sure on that. Or maybe the body. I've heard the body of the distributor could allow oil pressure to leak inside the distributor. I mean, that's got to be a rare occurrence, but I mean, with the way stuff's made today, maybe so. It does have MSD parts. I'm not a huge fan. MSD at one point in time was pretty high quality. These days it's probably, you know, just as reliable as anything else you buy. But that would be my last thing. I would pull the distributor, put a new one on, probably go to HEI, because this looks like, I don't know, I saw receipts for a 6AL ignition. I don't see the box anywhere unless they hid it somewhere under or inside the car, which I haven't looked for. I would just swap to HEI. I mean, there's more than enough room for a big cap HEI in the back of this Corvette. So that's enough talking. That's the whole arc of how this story will go, depending on, you know, how bad it looks. So just follow along with me, folks, and hope that we don't get to pulling the distributor or pulling the oil pump. You know, this one works. We got a mechanical gauge. It shows 40 PSI right at startup. I'd be super happy with that, but I got a feeling I'm in for something. So let's go ahead, jump on the other side of the car, start pulling that sending unit out. All right, so I lied on that one. Not taking the sending unit out just yet. So this car has a sending unit on the side of the block. And there's just a plug right here beside the distributor in the normal, like for small block Chevys, probably 95% of them have it right here beside the distributor, your oil sending unit. So I just pulled the plug. I'm gonna put the fitting in, thread it in the plug's location, if I don't drop it here. And I did Teflon the threads on this, so I'm trying to get all the pressure I can. But if you're installing an actual sending unit, you don't want to Teflon anything. Maybe a little bit of liquid sealer is fine, but the Teflon will actually act as a kind of a barrier, electrical barrier between your sending unit and ground. And you need the sending unit to have a good ground because that's what it references to tell you your pressures. So don't be wrapping your sending unit threads in a whole lot of Teflon, or any at all for that matter. But these mechanical gauges are pretty simple. You thread your fitting in for the gauge into the engine, wherever you got a good hole. This has like an 1/8 inch NPT. And I don't know, I think they give you a fitting for 1/4 or 1/2 inch. So you can adapt it to a couple different sizes. And if you need some other size, your hardware store should have just about anything you need. This is all pipe thread. I'm just gonna tighten this guy down. Not totally smoke it in, because hopefully it's coming right back out. We're gonna verify good pressure, and we'll just swap on the sending unit because it's got an internal leak, and we're good. I doubt it. I bet we got issues worse than that. But I think that's probably pretty tight. Now, The Corvette has not much good workspace. And if you're gonna install one of these inside your car, I'd recommend upgrading to the copper tubing, because these plastic ones tend to get fragile and break eventually. And you can trim these guys down however short you need them, and use them. Oop. All right, now we got it on, ready to seal up against our fitting. Hopefully this thing stays on here. Got my finger on there holding the ferrule in. I'm gonna run the hose. Oh no. All right, now I'm gonna go look for that ferrule. All right. Kind of in a tight spot, and this plastic hose is coiled so much, got a little spring to it. So, trying to get around that. So, you want to feed the plastic hose into the fitting, and then tighten. Tighten your nut on top of that. Ugh. If I can get it. If I can get the plastic hose to actually feed down in there. All right, well, I'm gonna monkey with this get it tightened down. Then we'll attach the gauge to the other side. Okay, we got our mechanical gauge installed here. And I'm gonna go hopefully start up the car. We'll see, it's been a few days. Do a cold start, come out here, verify oil pressure. So, got everything tightened down, nothing should leak. Let's give her a crank, take a look at it. Fingers crossed, folks. All right, let's give her a few pumps. Don't know if y'all can hear that train or not. The oil pressure's right at 20 on that gauge. Let's check our mechanical. Oh, no way. We are golden. No way. This is a total score. 60. That is perfectly within spec. I cannot believe it. We're gonna get away with changing the sending unit on this car. I think I got a total score on this trade. My Lord. What a win for Full Blast Garage. Just so you guys see it, that's the factory gauge, and that's why we never ever go off 100% what a factory GM gauge from the 70s or even 80s say. I mean, through the 90s, they're inaccurate also, but for some reason, these guys get real inaccurate. But let's change the sending unit, see if we can get at least a little bit more accuracy out of this gauge. All right, so on these C3 Corvettes, essentially right here at the back of your brake booster, if you just look straight down, that's where your oil pressure sending unit's gonna be. And that's this guy, this barrel copper looking thing. And hopefully what's happened is internal, there's some sort of leak or something that's not allowing this to get the correct reading. Possibly our gauge is bad, but hopefully this is the culprit. I've already tested the wiring. Wiring seems good. But what you're gonna wanna do is get your 9/16, get it down in there, and it has a nut on there, spin it off. There's a chance, it looks like on here there's some fittings that you might need to have a backup on. You'll just have to check and see when you turn it. You might need a backup so it doesn't back everything all the way out. But essentially just pull this guy off, put your new one on, one connector, and I highly, highly recommend going AC Delco. Even recently I've seen bad stuff about them, but I mean, it's not anything compared to the Chinese kind of counterparts. Like almost every one of those I see people are having issues with the gauge reading right. So go AC Delco. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead, spin this guy off, put the new one on, and then we'll crank it up and verify if we got that 60 PSI on our factory gauge. Threaded back in, new sending unit, AC Delco. And now, let's see what she'll do. Still in neutral. I got the brake on. Oh, we definitely have a gauge problem. You're gonna have to order a new one of these guys. So, we have an issue. Let's see if I can mess with the wire maybe. Maybe just kind of fiddle with the wire, see if that does anything. So I got my vacuum gauge and my timing light out. I'm gonna start adjusting on this thing. This thing has a cam on it that's decent, but it's only showing it's bouncing back and forth between 10 to 6 or 7. What is that, inches of mercury? Probably like to see a little bit more. I'm gonna try and adjust on the carb. So this Holly, this has adjustments at the front of each side. So driver, passenger. I'm gonna go in just an 1/8 turn in at a time on each side, see how the motor reacts, and see if we get, you know, just any kind of change in how the car runs. I mean, I can't tell, but maybe I turn it in enough, we'll get something. Whoa, is that already all the way? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a smaller screwdriver, hold on. All right, shorter, skinnier screwdriver. Did a half in? I can't tell, this motor, carb is not reacting. I'm doing quarter turns in, which is pretty drastic. It might have honestly smoothed out a hair right there. Man, these things were turned way out. I don't know. Were they like that for a reason? Well, we're not dieseling, so that's an improvement. I think I'm gonna look at what they recommend your stock spec to be. Kind of start off from there, just kind of completely start over. All right, so it's looking like 2 turns out where we're going. That's kind of got our best RPM And the only issue, I can't see much fuel in the bowl back here, the back of this Holly, and you can adjust that. I mean, I see fuel here. I don't see any in the back, so I'm gonna try and adjust on the bowl, just see if I can get anything out of that sight glass. Well, let's test drive this thing now. I got a stack of parts I need to return to Amazon. See guys, look, this is what had me terrified. Hot idle. Whoo! That would be rattling your teeth loose. But I had a feeling it was just some sort of gauge problem. So let's see. Reverse on these guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little tricky to find. Kind of got to hold. See, we're in neutral. There we go. Finally. It's a little tricky. When your bushings start to get a little worn out, it can be hard to find. Let's take this peach out on a cruise. Now that we know we got some oil pressure, and they're not just praying I can make it home the entire time. And I'm hoping I got, so the idle screws ended up being two full turns out was kind of like the best. I went mainly off RPM because the vacuum gauge was just so choppy with this cam. I kind of did it on, you know, what's the highest RPM value I was getting, and that seemed to be it. And I think I probably leaned it out a little bit, brought the RPM down manually with the screw, got it down to like 650 idle RPM. And I'm hoping that, you know, closing the blades will stop it from dieseling so bad. And if we do have like tip-in problems where it's kind of slow to kind of, you know, go into the gas, then turn it out a little bit. You leaned it out too much. And that can be just from being out on the road and the heat soaking the carburetor, and it's kind of burning off some of your gas before it actually gets in to the engine. So there's, ooh, this car is low. She scrapes on lots of things, but it will go. Woo! Definitely hard to hold with the right hand on the camera. Man, it feels better already though, just with a little bit of tuning on the carb. Don't think it'll be spitting so bad as it was before. Let's get her down in second. I mean, she is stout. Rip third. Yeah, she'll move. Y'all can tell from how fast the trees are moving behind me. We're getting it. Get her down in second. Oh yeah. This thing is probably the fastest car I've owned in a while. Like I had a Harley Davidson. Oh, let's go this way maybe. Back up. Had a Harley Davidson F-150 supercharged that was tuned up to probably 550, and that thing would absolutely get it. This, for a naturally aspirated car, she's a pretty good runner. just cruising the back roads in a Corvette. This is America. There we go, cruising in fourth. She's 1,500 RPM going 35 miles an hour, but we're probably going 40. This speedometer is a little off. We're gonna cruise back onto the shop, call her good. She's got oil pressure. We got a good project. Well, the old vet made it back into the shop. We survived a test drive and got the carb tuned up. Verified we actually have a motor that makes oil pressure. It's not zero at hot idle. So there's a couple parts. Well, I mean, I got a whole box of them to return now that I ain't got to drop the pan, put a pump, maybe distributor, none of that noise. So we're golden. I ain't even going to change the oil, just run it. It looks brand new. Wonder if the guy got rid of this thing just because he thought it had zero oil pressure. I mean, maybe he never verified it with the mechanical gauge and was just terrified that this thing was just about to grenade itself. I got a couple things I'm going to do to this car, and then I'm probably going to put it up for sale also. Just kind of, you know, for the Jimmy was a hard sell. Not going to lie, it had a ton of money in it, and people could see that, but it's not super practical. You need a real special individual to want that car because it has no roof. So either you got to be a person that's willing to buy a roof and install it, so you're putting more money into it, or have, you know, indoor or covered storage all the time. So the guy that had this car, it was perfect for him. He's got a big shop. He can cruise that thing on into town with his grandkids, come back, be comfortable, and, you know, doesn't have to look at this thing. So this, him and his wife, I think they drove it around a few times, just didn't like it. I mean, they're not Corvette people. Not everyone is. He had a super nice Chevelle though. My Lord, that thing was nice. This thing, it's okay. I'm gonna probably price it, I don't know, 12, 13,000. Can't really verify the miles. You know, I'm gonna do the oil pressure gauge and I'm gonna put seats in it. The seats are real bad and I think that'll kick the value up quite a bit, just having nice seats to sit in. Probably do the foam, do the seats, do the gauges, call it a day. She's up for sale. Give it a wash down. Somebody will really like this car because that 383 with the 4-speed absolutely rips. Fun weekend cruiser. Or honestly, you could daily drive this thing. Just fix the air conditioning because nobody's gonna want to drive it in Texas without it. But man, I appreciate everybody watching another episode. We got off real light, which I'm super happy. So incredibly happy that I didn't have to dive any further into this car because it's essentially a flip project, which I don't do a lot of, but this one is for sure. But yeah, again, man, if y'all could like, comment, subscribe, any interaction with us, we really appreciate because we're a super small channel and every little thing helps us out with the algorithm and gets us in front of more people. But I appreciate it and thank y'all again for watching. And until you see me again, just go out, do something that makes you happy, but make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later.